Hello. I don't know how, but our Ukrainian retailer Cayin N8ii managed to get a new Cayin's flagship N8 Mark II. And after a few days of begging, I convinced them to give it to me as a loaner for a few days so I can try it, test it and create this video. And that's the case when actually this player probably would be better named like N9 or something like that, because it has almost nothing in common with the previous generation of Cayin N8. Previous N8 was interesting player, but it had a bit outdated design and lacked modern functionality. So now that all things are fixed, what remains unchanged from the previous one is the price. It costs $3,500, and now it's a basically full-featured Android player. It runs Snapdragon 660, has 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of flash. Not a huge amount, but anyway. Runs Android 9, and actually audio part is also rebuilt from scratch. It uses that ROHM, or how they should be pronounced, digital to analog converters. It features fully discrete amplification. You can select will it work in class A or class AB. And from the previous version, of course, they bring here core GNU tubes, which used here to provide amplification both for single-ended and balanced output. So it's now it's a really modern player without any compromises, because for the previous generation of flagship players, I had to justify lacking of some functions with sound quality. Now it's really no compromise device. So let's have a closer look. As you can see, package is done nicely, and I really like, and big head off for Cayin, that they decided not to make a huge box like to improve the luxury feel. They made a pretty compact but well done package, so typical for the players, not exaggerated in size. Nice, interesting embossing. As you can see, it reminds actually the design of volume knob, and bit of information, but of course it's just an outer sleeve, and opening it we can get to the box. So on top here is player itself, and accessory set are stored separately in this drawer. Pretty nice unboxing experience, really pleasant. And as you can see, you can make luxury package without making it huge. And for the previous generation of players, Cayin made really huge set of accessories, and they decided to preserve that. So here you'll get some manual, screen protector, high-res stickers, but honestly I don't think that these high-res stickers makes any sense, because all modern audio gear is high-res. You will get adapter for the Pentacon out, and another adapter. What is it? Yeah, it's 3.5mm adapter, so you can use 2.5mm connections here. Also you'll get leather case, and actually it's a really good touch, because as you can see, case looks pretty fancy. And the USB Type-C cable. Of course it would be nice to include here some line out cables, but actually not this time, but still, as you can see, accessory set is pretty good. In terms of design, there are some similarity with other players, like this knob reminds a few models, this edge reminds some other model, but in general, in common, of course, it perceived as a fully Cayin device. Unusual and skillfully built and interestingly designed. As you can see, they made it of aluminum, except a few parts, like here you see the window to admire GNU tubes underneath. But in general it's almost a full block of metal. It's pretty heavy and bulky. And if we compare it with closest rival, Kern SP2000, you can see that Ultima is slightly slimmer, shorter, thinner, so smaller in almost all dimensions, and in terms of weight they are about the same. You know, I remember the time when first SP1000 was announced and everyone was discussing how huge it was, but nowadays it's a pretty nice, compact, pocketable player, except of weight, of course. But N8 Mark II feels really solid in hand, of course, and can spend time polishing ergonomics, so everything on its own place. So left side occupied with this window to admire new tubes, but to see them you need to connect actually let's do it right now. Let me connect some earphones and start playback. I'm not sure will it be visible on video or not, but new tubes are, you can see slight glow of tubes here. But let's pull it out. On top there is a volume knob. It's made of, it's gold plated, looks fancy with some really complex pattern on it that probably means something. On this side you'll get on-off button, and as usual it works as a screen lock, and 3 buttons for the playback control. And actually they are rattling a little bit if you shake the player, not much, but still for this price tire probably it should be eliminated. And here is micro SD slot. And on the bottom you can see plenty of different outputs. So it's a Pentagon output that can be used as headphones and balanced line out, headphones out and pure line out. Also here is I2S output. It's necessary to output digital signal to the compatible digital to analog converters, like Cayin does a few really good desktop devices, so you can connect it to them. And USB Type-C, as usual, it can be used for charging, to access internal memory, to use it as digital to analog converter, to output digital signal to some other digital to analog converter, and even with the special cable you can output SPDIF signal through this USB Type-C here. And speaking about the charging, inside it houses huge battery, 10,000 mAh. Luckily it supports quick charge, so you can fully charge it in less than 5 hours, and it will be enough to run it from 10 to 11 hours in single-ended mode and about hour or two less in balanced. Of course it's pretty modest figures for this huge battery, but taking into account that here used the amplifier that works in class A or AB, it's actually pretty good figures for this power and amplification and tubes and this power hungry digital converter chips, reclocker and chipset and all stuff that is stuffed inside of this player. Big part of front panel occupied with screen. It's 720p, not something super high resolution, but with good viewing angles, nice colors. Of course it's really responsive. Unfortunately it's not each to each, there is a noticeable bevel from the bottom side, but they put home button with LED indicator here. And it offers good amount of brightness, nice viewing angle, so pretty good screen. And thanks to fast chipset, controls are really controlling this player via touch gestures feels really fluid and pleasant. In terms of firmware, it's almost pure Android with Google Play services installed and with touches of add-ons, and most probably it's developed by Hybe, because player reminds Hybe one and some other interface ideas too. As usual, in the top drawer you'll get some audio controls, so you can select gain, power mode. This player has 2 modes, regular and super powerful one. But for the super powerful mode you need to switch amplifier to class AB. You can activate tubes if you want and turn them on and off. You can select amplifier type A, class A or class AB. With class A sound will be more refined and exquisite, in the AB more dynamic and lively. You can select headphone or line out, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and extra audio settings that actually brings you to settings application. So low pass anti-aliasing filter settings, DSD filter, digital out, output mode, amplifier operation, timbre tubes on solid state, line out settings, gain, DSD gain compensation, channel balance, maximum volume, and volume control settings. You want rotated clockwise or anti-clockwise. Actually, I prefer opposite direction for the default one. And few extra settings hidden here and there. So like here you can select which buttons will be operated when screen is locked. In general, nice, well working Android. You can install your favorite streaming services and so on. But main part is player, and you find its interface pretty familiar. It's a bit reskinned, but still. There are 3 tabs and all tracks, browse by folders, by albums, artists, by genre, album, artist, and here you can select, add to playlist, remove, delete, so batch operations and all the stuff. Of course, as you can see, it works really fast and fluid. And here are playlists, favorite, recently played, and custom playlists. And here is a Hyperlink server, so you can control it from the remote device. And there is a search that is pretty convenient in some cases. Now playing screen, it's big album cover, output information, now current playlist, and you can select, do you want linear indicator or 2 types of circular ones, so you can select the ones that suit your needs. And here are basic settings, so scan for music files, graphical equalizer, sleep timer, show lyrics or not, cover art and lyrics, fetching automatically, lock screen settings, notification settings, and few basic settings like DSD output and so on. So not much settings, but all the basic things that you need you'll get. In general, firmware works really fluid, really well built, so basically nicely well polished firmware, and it getting new updates, so Cayin will support it for quite a long time, I'm almost sure. If I count it right, with this player you're getting 6 sound modes, so it can be A or AB, it can be solid state or tube, and you can get all combinations. And also in the AB mode you can activate Power Plus mode. But actually Power Plus is more a matter of headphones. With some tough to drive models it will give you better dynamics. But with something like sensitive in-ear monitors, it's not playing much role. It slightly increases dynamics, but not really much. In some of this combination, actually player can get really hot with particular loads, but it's probably something to expect from the class A amplification and pretty high power output. In general, the most natural and focused on the micro contrast probably is AB solid state mode. Probably it makes some sense to count as a reference one. It's not absolutely natural and audiophilic, it's still Cayin with slightly boosted and highlighted emotions, but it has less of that coloration and it's closest to neutrality. Probably let's talk about everything with examples and step by step. So, of course, it's not even making sense to tell things like bass is deep, it's well controlled, it has a great resolution, it's textured, it's not bloated or slow or something like that. It's natural, it's fast. In the pure A mode it has a slight hint of additional weight and tightness, making it more impactful, but just a little bit and really accurate. In the tube mode you're getting a bit more focus on the overtones, so it's you getting that sense of hyperrealism and the saturated sense of naturalness. And as you can see, it's pretty covering almost all typical options of tuning. So let's proceed to examples. First one, it's David Bowie, Blackstar. really interesting deep bass in the introduction. Of course, it's some sampled sound, but it's really saturated and engaging, and I like it most of all in the pure A mode. It doesn't benefit from extra overtones in the A, in the tube mode, but it benefits a bit of added weight of the pure A mode. And Musica Nuda, it's more interesting example because you can enjoy this track differently, activating different modes. It's Libera from their album Banda Larga, when that album where they used a lot of other accompanying instruments. And for example, in the AB mode, it's easier to focus on different instruments. If you want more analytical and critical listening, you can get it. If you want more present acoustic double bass, you can activate tube mode. It makes it more realistic, bigger and fancier. In the A mode, you're getting a bit more presence of vocal, more saturated, more lush. And combining that different modes, you can get really different experience. It's pretty fun, and of course it's better than typical equalization or something like that. Mid frequencies in the AB mode also natural, not really detailed, not focusing micro contrast too much, so it's not sounding dull and analytical. It's never trying to sound thin or super bright, but at the same time it's boosting a bit dynamics and energy. When you activate A-class amplification, you're getting a bit of additional body for the instruments and for the vocal, and especially it's boost low male vocals. So if you like some men singers with really deep, rich voices, it can be a shivering experience here. And in the tube mode, it's boosting emotions even further. It's highlighting some harmonics probably, and because of that, you're getting more saturation of emotions and slightly boosted dynamics. Imagery stage is big, spacious, and at the same time it's not exaggerated. Player doesn't try to make it super big or expanded or something like that. Basically what you have in record, what you will get. Depth is also pretty good, so almost equally good both width and depth, so no issues here. And it's of course critical for the quality of records, but for the player of this tier probably it's something to expect, so you need best material here. And first example, it's my favorite Polish jazz band Niechęć. I'm saying my favorite, like I know all of them. I know just 2 Polish jazz collectives and both are great, but Niechęć is like one love, absolutely. I really like their avant-garde approach. I like that they pay attention to the quality of record, and of course Metanol has a lot of different instruments, so most of all I like it actually in the A mode. If I want to focus on the particular instrument, once again I can use AB, but in the A mode they sounding more musical and like more coherent together. And with tube modes activated, it sounds a bit too much boosted in terms of dynamics for me, but it's a matter of preferences. Of course, it's also pretty engaging, so no questions, just my subjective tastes. So wake up. And the second example, it's Nightwish, Slow Love Slow, great track with basically focused on the 2 vocals, male and female, and actually here additional weight of A mode paying really beneficial for this track. But from another hand, boosting dynamics and emotions with the tube mode is also pretty nice. Surprisingly, activating both A mode and tubes doesn't give you 2 in 1, because tubes are a bit more dominating for me, so tubes coloration is a bit more noticeable to my ears. And treble, actually nice, well defined, with great extension, layering, attacks and decays, resolution, all that stuff is present here. And in tube mode it's a bit softened, but not too much, just a bit slower attacks and decays, giving you a bit more softer effect. And actually, to my ears, A and AB mode doesn't affect treble much, so impact is really minimal. And first example, it's Pink Floyd, If from Atom Heart Mother. Really short and nice track. Probably they created it for listeners to relax after that epic title track. And it's short intermission, but with a lot of different sounds, with a lot of things that goes to the high frequency area, and AB mode is perfect here to enjoy it with layering and all that stuff. And another good example where I also like actually unsoftened version, it's YYZ by Rush. You can probably understand why. That introduction part and then that perfect work with percussions really deserves AB mode without coloration. So that's it. You can get different types of sound, you can enjoy them and experiment. In terms of pairings, it's pretty universal, you know, of course it's good with sensitive in-ear monitors, background noise is low, slightly more present with tubes, but not too much, and if you activate Wi-Fi, it also can give a slight interference, but not as noticeable as, for example, iBus or DX320 with AMP13, so here Cayin did the shielding work noticeably. And for the power-hungry full-size headphones, it's not super powerful, and actually even in that Power Plus mode it still won't drive super power-hungry models, but vast majority of regular headphones of course won't be an issue here. And of course the most interesting part, it's conversions, and there are a lot of different competitors here, and actually first one is Astel & Kern SP2000. Probably Astel & Kern soon will release updated version, because now SP2000 available with discounts, and actually it make it even better offer. And actually, you know, I don't know what will be in new Ultima, but current Ultima with discount is still a really decent offer, except of firmware. Firmware definitely needs upgrade here. That probably will be the area of focus for Astel & Kern, one of the areas of course. And here you get more different types of sound if you like that idea, but with Ultima you'll get that Astel & Kern liquid mids, that their own signature coloration, so it's totally a matter of preferences what you will choose here. Comparing with the previous version of N8, this one is, in my opinion, noticeable step forward. It's more natural and actually less boosting dynamics and emotions, and because of that sounding more refined. And what else we've got? Unfortunately, I don't have Lotupo Gold Touch with me for comparisons, and FIOS M17 actually it's more dynamic, slightly more focused on the micro contrast, and in the desktop mode with the external power supply, it's absolutely king of driving tough to drive headphones and king of dynamics and emotions, so it's boosting that noticeably. This one is slightly less doing that, so. And FIO is less portable, of course. FIO lacking a bit of definition, for example, in the treble area, but with power-hungry phones it will be better. But actually, with power-hungry headphones, FIO will be the king, dominating over the all other players anyway. And probably obvious comparison, it's iBus 320 with AMP13 and tube mode here. And with AMP13 is a bit softer, it's adding a bit more softness and a bit more tubes coloration, so less stage and more focus on the mellow tones and boosting that softness, sweetness and stuff. So, to summarize everything, Cayin created a really good foundation for the next year or two for their players lineup. It's definitely a flagship player in terms of chipset and operation system, and it offers a really great sound with a lot of different types, and I think that many people will like that idea because it never will be boring. You can get different types of signature with just tapping the screen once. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.